TAFE New South Wales welcomes you to training for Games Force 2000. Games training is proudly sponsored by TAFE New South Wales, official training services supporter of the Olympic Games and partner of the Paralympic Games. This video and the orientation training material will provide you with an overview of your Games experience, a history of the Games, an introduction to venues and sports, and advice on customer relations. There's the training manual, which will give you an overview of the Olympic and Paralympic Games, a copy of your Go Passport, which is part of a program that will recognise and thank you for your contribution to delivering the dream. The idea is to carry it in your hip bag whenever you're working. The Go Passport is also a record of all training sessions you attend. Make sure you keep it safe, because in the future it can be used as official recognition of prior learning, should you wish to apply for further study at a TAFE New South Wales campus. And when you attend venue training, you'll receive the Venue Pocket Guide. This is a quick reference guide for you to use on the job. Good luck and have a great time.
Discipline is probably one of the biggest assets that you can have as an elite athlete. And I mean, you can transcribe that to everything you do in your life. For us, it means not cutting any corners in training and, just doing everything you need to do to be the best you can be.
As a volunteer, it's quite important to be disciplined because sometimes you're doing tasks or little activities that you don't really understand how they fit into the big picture, and you have to trust the people that you're working for, that they're putting you in the right direction, in the right place at the right time. And so you can't sit there and say, but why am I doing this? You do it, and you do it willingly and with a smile, and that's what being a volunteer is all about.
It's been a long, hard road. There's been times when I've wanted to give up. There's been times when it's been fantastic. There's been times where I've been injured and thought that I'd never get out of it and be stuck there, never play again. But just having the patience and persistence and determination to keep going, and to know, for us, we've got a home Olympics, and to know that's the light at the end of the tunnel has been great motivation for me.
I think to do any type of volunteer work over a long period of time, the long hours that we'll be working, if you don't have patience, you're going to find your job very, very difficult. You will tend to, I think if you don't have patience, you will become very negative, and we certainly don't want that. It doesn't matter what the role is, any games time role, you must be terribly patient with whoever you're dealing with.
Competition itself can go for several hours, and during those several hours we're only actually competing or doing what we do for maybe 2 or 3 minutes over that period of time. So concentration has to be really good for those 2 or 3 minutes, but you also have to learn to relax.
Concentration is the key to elite performance in the international arena. You've got to be able to switch on and switch off. You can't go out and concentrate for 4 or 5 hours at a time. It's an enormous capacity to do that. But for a shot putter who might have one shot every 4 years of being the best in the world, the ability to focus all their efforts at that given moment, that takes immense concentration and immense ability to focus on the right things at the right time.
You've got to concentrate on the job by watching what's going on around you, that certain things are allowed and not allowed. For instance, smoking in the stadium, so if you see somebody smoking, you've got to be alert to that. So you've got to concentrate on what is expected of you.
I've seen too many athletes who have wasted careers through not being focused enough, not being determined enough, being too laissez-faire in their approach. And you might get one crack at Olympic Games. Some people will get 2, and the very lucky ones maybe 3 if they've come into the sport at an early age. So for that one moment, and for 4 years, it's not much of a sacrifice to give 4 years of your life or 6 years of your life in preparing for an Olympic Games. And I think if you have that dream, that hope and that belief, the determination part and the motivation part should be quite simple.
I think it needs to be a quiet determination. I think that you have to sometimes learn how to be a little bit laid back as well. I don't think that you should be too heavy in the job that you do. I think that you have to keep your sense of humour for starters. I think that is so important.
Commitment, it's a lifetime of commitment. We train here at the AAS 6 days a week out of 7. We get 1 day off. Occasionally we'll get a long weekend here and there. So, it's every day, it's constant, and you have to commit to that if you want to succeed.
The job can't occur without a commitment. It's a team effort, everyone has a commitment, and everyone has a role to play. So if every person in the team is committed, the job gets done.
If there are enough volunteers doing a very good job, everything runs smoothly and the athletes can focus on performance. If the volunteers aren't there, then all of a sudden officials become a problem and food becomes a problem and shade and water, etc. It just flows on. So they're absolutely inherent to the success of athletes in the elite arena.
A lot of the time the athletes are locked in the zone and busy doing their job, but if you've got great volunteers behind you, it's comforting to know that you can get out there and do your job.
No matter how you're representing your country, you're going to need discipline, patience, determination, concentration and commitment. On a day working in an actual games venue, you're going to need all that and more. This video, shot at the Australian Gymnastics Championships, which was a test event, will give you a taste of what it's going to be like working at the Games.
Punctuality is certainly very important because people will be depending upon me to do my job at the time designated.
One thing I've been sort of gearing up for, and I've been testing the train system, public transport, the buses, to make sure that games time, even though there'll be hundreds and more people, just make sure that I know where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing.
Morning, how are you?
Good.
When you check in, the volunteers and general staff come to the desk. They get marked off. They're given a voucher for their respective meal times, and then move off onto their allocated areas. And there's our competition for today, and our newsletter for today.
For venue staffing, we need to know who's arrived, that they've come to the venue, and who's in the venue, and what time their shift starts and finishes. One of the events we worked on, we had smiley stickers, and when they came in, we gave them a smiley sticker. And for those who missed out, I mean, we knew because they hadn't come to see us first. They said, well, where's my smiley sticker? So I said, you've got to come to check in first.
All right, everybody, here's the situation.
Daily briefings are extremely important for all staff to be involved with. Normally at the beginning of a shift, when volunteers report to their supervisor or team leader or manager, they're expected to attend a daily briefing, and that is so the manager, supervisor, team leader can communicate the key things for the day to staff, let them know of any major changes, instructions for the day, give volunteers an opportunity to ask questions about their role, their position, clarify anything that will actually help them perform.
Our shifts vary in length. Generally they're about 8 hours long, with a half-hour meal break and 2 10-minute coffee breaks, but due to unforeseeable circumstances, sometimes we have to stay a little longer.
Yep.
What will happen is I will get the people from the concourse. I'm a spectator services team leader. My job is to take a group of people and I deploy them in the mornings, and then I go and rotate them around, give them their breaks, their meal breaks and their coffee breaks, and liaise with the other team leaders about rotating them around to different areas. So, I might be at ticket taking in the morning and move my staff in the afternoon to do some ushering or some access monitoring, just to give them a bit of variety. Waiting for her to come back with his ticket.
The last gymnast in this second rotation of the 4 is Jackie Dunn.
My specific job is in event management, so I'm inputting data into the computer for all the competitors and the judges, and making sure that all of that's right. Then printing all of the reports for all the results for rhythmic gymnastics and trampoline. That what I'm doing is about putting together the whole Olympic package and making the gymnasts' experience even greater, and presenting what it is that they've done to the whole world.
When there's a lull in the proceedings, we get our meal breaks, and we take them obviously whenever we can, so as not to interfere with people coming in, because just because our meal break happens to be at a particular time, that could be when there's a rush of people surging in unexpectedly, so we've got to be prepared for that.
There'll be a lot of different volunteers who will have to work with different customer groups. Maybe it's athletes that they work primarily with, maybe they work primarily with technical officials or the Olympic councils, or maybe in some cases the client or the customer group is staff. So no matter what the customer group is, it's important that we don't drop our guard that we're providing the best service that we possibly can, and the tough time is when that customer interaction does become very, very difficult and stressful.
So we have to be strong in what we're doing, know what we're doing, so we can get them in and seated quickly and try and calm any problems they have.
We all need to get on, we all need to help each other to make sure the event goes as smoothly as possible.
Being part of a team has many benefits for us. It means that because we're training together and then working together, we can rely on each other. We understand what everybody does, and we can rely on each person to do that job because they've been trained like we have.
There are no egos involved. Everybody chips in. There are no boundaries.
Most of the people go to the first door.
Exactly, I found that.
And there's a big queue at that first door, and the lass at the second door is standing there like a lily on a dirt tin. I wondered...
Debriefing happens most days, and we find it very good because it allows any problems that have come up, any issues that have come up during the day to be dealt with there and then. Also, if staff have any queries or problems that they perhaps haven't been able to raise this yet, it's a forum in which they can raise those problems and have them dealt with.
It's just a one-off time. It won't happen next year. It won't happen probably ever again in Sydney.
So to be just involved in a little bit in the Sydney Olympics, we're never going to have it again. It's just amazing, yeah.
If I can be of any help to make sure it's a success, for Sydney and Australia, that's all that I really, feel good about.
I don't think I'll ever most probably go off to another Olympics or whatever else, so having your back door and be able to participate, I think is a bonus.
Once in a lifetime experience.
To be a volunteer, it is really great. I've met a lot of great people from all around the world and made a lot of new friends that otherwise I wouldn't have made.
Teamwork and communication. You saw how important they were at that test event. It's easy to imagine how vital they're going to be at games time when the pressure is on and there's so much more to deal with. There's going to be a real sense of excitement and urgency, and you're going to have to be the person who's calm, supportive and knowledgeable. And you're going to have to support one another as well. In Australia, sport is a way of life, not only bringing people together, but also giving them a sense of confidence, self-esteem and pride.
Take your mark.
If there wasn't any sport, life would be probably boring. You can exercise and it makes you stronger.
I think we're very lucky in Australia that sport is considered important in the community, that sport is considered important in the schools, and swimming in particular. Almost every school has its own swimming carnival, and I think it's tremendous for their self-esteem. Even if they didn't have much ability at swimming, but if they stick to the work, they will come through and do well in their school stuff, and this can make a huge difference to their entire life.
What are we going to do in the breaststroke? Glide, that's right. What are we going to do at the start of the breaststroke?
Yeah, I think it does give you confidence, as in if you see results. If you don't see results, you sort of get down, but that makes you tough because in your mind you have to talk to yourself and say, okay, I've got to get on top of this and I know I can do it. And sort of more belief in yourself, and when you have that belief, you get your confidence.
What a way to finish.
When he just started swimming and looking at his stroke that looked so effortless.
The netball stopped for about 2 minutes until Kieran won the last couple of laps.
Yeah, we were actually sitting at home watching our TV and the kids were pretty excited whether he was going to get there or not.
It was fantastic.
Superstar of Australian sport, ladies and gentlemen.
We were there, right beside his girlfriend and his family, and it was absolutely sensational. And a whole band of Australians were around us, and they were all painted in green and gold and jumping up and down. It was